All right, so we have Bruce Hall on the phone with us. He's the bass guitarist, does a little backing vocals, and I think even some lead vocals for REO Speedwagon. They're going to be here March 15th. Now, you joined the band back in 1977. You're on that album, You Can Tune a Piano, but You Can't Tune a Fish. And, well, first of all, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you.
I should say that before I get right into it. Who comes up with the name of these albums, by the way? Because that one was genius. I mean, really.
That one was, it's actually, I think one of our guys came up, it's a Marx Brothers thing. I think Groucho or somebody had said it. You can tune a piano, but you can't tune a fish. And I don't remember exactly who brought it up, but it was at a get-together. I think it might have been in Colorado at a place where we were all at a restaurant trying to think of names for albums, and somebody came up with that one. Yeah.
Well, you got to admit, it's a little, it's out there. It's great. Something nobody else had. So, so where did you grow up in? And tell me what kind of a childhood did you have? I mean, what got you into music?
Well, I grew up in Illinois, around Champaign, Illinois, where the University of Illinois is, and I don't think I really had much of a choice as far as getting into music, because my father was a musician, and it runs down through the generations. All my brothers are musicians. Oh. My grandmother, my dad's mom, she was the greatest. She had her little organ at home and her little ukulele. She used to play "You Are My Sunshine" and songs like that.
Oh, that's
great. For us, it was great. And my great grandfather was a music teacher, and he wrote this with I guess some kind of ink that they used back in the day, but a bedspread. It was a small bedspread, but he put all this music. I wish I could send you a picture of it. He was a teacher, and he put it on there, and he could fold it up and put it in his little packet. Mm-hmm. And he went from churches and schools and taught people, not just kids, but adults too, how to play music.
Oh, wow. That is...
So it runs we've been in the family a long time.
Yeah, that's pretty special. As a musician, and you play the bass, so I got to ask this, do you use a pick or do you use your fingers or a little bit of both?
I do a little bit of both.
Yeah.
They do.
Well, it does...
songs,
it just makes the song sound a little bit different, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yes, I try to. The pick is it's good for rock songs. You don't really want to hear the sound of the pick so much.
Yeah.
I like the speed of it. You can get around pretty fast with a pick. And there's certain things that sound good on, but I use my thumb not like for popping and slapping, but mostly just for when we do Can't Fight This Feeling. I use my thumb for that. Just kind of
it gets a
good, nice
big full
big
sound
rap.
in it. Yeah.
Right.
You have any favorite groups beside REO Speedwagon? I know that, and you guys coming in here on March 15th. So with the Ides of March and everything, and I've been calling you REO Speedwagon. A little Irish thing in there. So I hope you don't mind that. But
right.
Do you have any bands that you like beside REO? What do you like to listen to?
Oh gosh, well, I'm old school. I listen to. Well, it comes like you say. You're a bass player too. I like songs or bands that have good bass players. Like I love Leland Sklar. He plays with James Taylor. I like James Taylor stuff.
Yeah.
And Dee Murray played with Elton John. I don't know the kid's name that played with Little Feat. Little Feat, I love Dixie Chicken. That album's great. There's a lot of great bass players.
Yeah, there really are.
Paul McCartney was my first and favorite.
Yeah.
I still like some of that stuff.
Well, it's amazing.
So beautiful. I mean,
yeah, it's amazing because with Paul McCartney, I mean, you can take just the bass line and play that, and people can recognize the song.
Oh,
and
yeah.
It's great. And
He's
I think...
a genius. And there's a show on Hulu. It's called 321, I think it's with, what's the guy's, Ruben, is the interviewer. He's actually a producer. Anyway, he goes with Paul through some of the Beatles songs because they have the masters, and they can dial up all the parts.
Oh,
and
I have seen that. Yeah, I saw
Oh.
that. You're right.
It was so good. You should hear, like, the bass part on Something is something. It is unbelievable. It's genius, and he just came up with it like at the moment. I just can't believe it.
We were sitting around here.
Something else.
Yeah, we were talking the other day, and I said, the thing I like about like Paul McCartney songs is when you listen to one and it sounds like everything he ever wanted to do got put into that song, and then the next song comes on,
Right.
and there again, it sounds like everything that he wanted to do got put into that song, but they all sound different. So it's really great.
Yeah, I know.
So if you're
really
sitting
great.
out
He
there,
doesn't-
huh?
I'd say he doesn't actually. When he was with the Beatles, and they were, I don't know if it was their age, their being young, or what it was, but he was so inventive. Of course,
Oh,
as
yeah.
time goes, he doesn't have that anymore. I haven't heard any. I wish he would, but
Yeah,
and I hate to say in an interview, but Paul's my hero, and I haven't heard anything that really makes me stand up and applaud lately.
I
wish
got
could
you.
say I did.
Yeah. So if you right now, for some reason, you decided, hey, I'm going to join another band, what would that band be?
Well,
And I don't want the guys.
really don't think-
I don't want the guys thinking that
No,
you're
no,
fixing
no.
to join another band.
No. This is the way I actually feel about that. REO is a part of my hometown, Champaign, Illinois. That's where it all got started, and there's no other band that I can't even think of being with anybody else. I mean,
it's beautiful.
I can't unless it was just me doing something myself. But
Yeah.
But REO is my only band that I would ever want to be in. It's my dream come true, honestly. A little kid from Illinois joined up with a band from Champaign that went on to become worldwide famous and have hit songs. I can't imagine why I would want to change anything about that.
You know what? That's the perfect answer. I've got this morning. I put something out there on social media, and I said, "Hey, look, I'm going to be talking to Bruce, the bass player from REO Speedwagon and singer and rock musician extraordinaire." And I said, "Is there anything that you guys want to know?" So I'm going to ask you a couple of questions here that some of our listeners, Dan McCurdy, who is down in Florida, by the way, wanted to know: do you prefer small or large venues when you guys are playing?
Well, that's a good question. There's a lot to be said about smaller venues, and there's a lot to be said about larger venues. But smaller is kind of more fun in a way because it's a little more intimate, and people are how do you say it? They seem to be. We're just closer to everybody, and that makes it more fun for us. I don't know about the crowd. Sometimes they kind of get smashed up, in the front. But in the big places, they're fun too. But you really have to remember that there's seats way in the back, and we have to be a little more animated about what we do. Just so we, they bought a ticket for a show too. So Kevin's very good at being out front. He likes to run around and be kind of he's a showman. And I like to listen, but I run around too from time to time. It's not as much as I don't know anybody can keep up with KC. He's all over the place. But it's just the show. We have a couple places on stage. It's not choreographed moves, but kind of where we meet up during certain parts of certain songs.
Oh yeah.
And we just kind of have a giggle at the time. We look at each other and kind of like, whoa.
Well, it's you guys are always putting on a good show for everybody out there in the audience, but you guys want to have a good time too.
Oh yeah, we play for ourselves. You bet. If we do something that's kind of that's one of the things. The songs, even though we played them for years, we play them a little bit different every night, just a little bit. And if you make a flub, if you mess up a little, you'll get everybody. You don't want to look at the boys in the band because they'll go like, "You're an idiot." But
well, it's got to be
at the same
fun.
time, mostly between me and Dave, our guitar player, he'll do something I just love, and I'll look at it and go, "Oh yeah, I love that." And if I do, I'd like to do little licks at certain times, and he looks at me and goes, "Oh yeah." It's like
that's great.
It's always, it's part of the fun of being in a band.
Yeah. Mike Arnold wanted to know, when's the next album? That's a good question.
That is a good question. Well, here's the answer to that question. We have, like a lot of classic rock bands, we have a lot of songs. And that's through the years. I mean, the only way to make a living being a rock act, a rock and roll band, is you have to learn how to craft songs. You have to learn how to write songs. You have to learn how to record songs, and you have to get good at it. And that never goes away. It's like learning how to, I don't know what the other, how to paint or make, something beautiful out of basically nothing, just some ideas. And we do that. We have a lot of songs that we have recorded, but we put them in the can. We're just kind of waiting to see what the world does with music. There's a lot of avenues that weren't there before, but at the same time, the old avenues of getting and distributing and hearing music have changed so much.
It
really
has
used to be
it's
record, and then we could get radio stations, and they would all play it all over the country at the same time.
Yeah.
Now it's not that there for bands like us.
No, things have really changed. We're talking with Bruce Hall, bass player for REO Speedwagon. We got another question here. This was kind of the same thing. Any idea about maybe a movie coming out about REO? Because that seems to be pretty popular these days. Talking about like the Paul McCartney.
That I can't. Yeah, I haven't heard anything about a movie. I do know that Kevin, our lead singer, KC, he's about done with it. He's been writing a book. He's been writing books about 5 years. He can't, he can't. He has all the. He's a very good wordsmith. He's very good with words, and when he's not writing songs, I don't know how he just got started on this thing, and he goes, I think I'm writing a book, and so that's what he's doing. And that was about 5 years ago. He started it, and he's got it. I think it's about done. I think he has to turn it in. They gave him a deadline when he had to have it done. And we'll see how well that turns out.
That should be nice.
I don't know if it should be, if he tells the truth.
Yeah.
Lead singer, they're a different bunch. And sometimes they put a spin on things that, to make things, to make it more press-worthy, more exciting than it may be, or kind of fabricated a little bit sometimes.
Yeah.
I don't know. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yes, of course I do. Not that I would do that myself.
No.
So
you're a bass player. That's you wouldn't do it.
No,
Neither would
of course not. Dub Armstrong, he wanted to know how did you come by the name REO Speedwagon?
That happened before I was in the band. It happened with Neil Dowdy, our keyboard player. He started this whole thing. Him and Alan Gratzer were roommates at the University of Illinois, and Neil was in electrical engineering classes. That's what he was studying at the U of I. You have to be really smart to do that.
Yeah.
And he was close to graduating when he went home and told his folks he was dropping out of school to go with his rock band. Can you imagine what that was like?
Oh, I'm sure they loved it. I'm sure they thought that was a great idea.
I'm sure they thought that was a great idea. Anyway, so he walked in. He had a class in transportation, and one day he walked in. They had just started working up a band. It was Alan and Neil, keyboard player and a drummer, and I don't even know at the time who all else was members, but they didn't have a name for the band. And right there, when he walked into class, in the transportation class, right on the chalkboard, it said REO Speedwagon. So they were going to study about the REO Speedwagon, which is at the time, it was a high-powered truck. They used it for fires and that sort, some delivery things.
Yeah.
But at the time, it was the best. It was the top of the pile. It was the best it could be. So that's what they grabbed. They used REO Speedwagon as the name of their band.
Well, it's a good thing they weren't going to be studying about some other things that could have been up there, So, all right.
You know that.
One last question. I think this one's great. This comes from Kristen Ashley, and I love this one. Her only question was, can I have an autograph for my birthday?
Yes, sure. Of course. Of course. We can. We love our fans, and we really honestly do. And we couldn't have done this as long as we've done it without their support. And anytime, of course, if we're eating in a restaurant and we've got a fork in our mouth, it's not a good time to ask you for an autograph, but anytime
Absolutely.
we're like giving people an autograph or just spend a little time with them, I think that's something that we feel like we owe them.
That's a beautiful thing. We're really looking forward to the concert coming up in March the 15th at the Murphy Arts District. You guys have never been to El Dorado before, and
No.
I've been going to concerts since 1972, and I have never seen REO Speedwagon in concert. Now I saw you. Let's see, it was REO in Chicago, out in Colorado, I think, a few years back.
Red Rock?
Saw that, I saw that on TV, but I've never seen you guys in person, and I'm looking forward to it too. So, have a great time, and we'll see you thumping on that bass out there and having a good time coming to El Dorado March 15th.